Hey everybody, Lakia here, and I am so excited about this presentation today because we're going to be focused on Google Forms. Now, for us entrepreneurs and business owners, there's just certain things that we need to help us run our businesses effectively. We have clients, we have potential clients, we have presentations. There's just so many things that you need as a business owner to keep it running, especially if you're online. And so in this presentation, I want to really focus on how Google Forms can help you accomplish that. And so I took a few notes that I want to share with you before we actually jump into the forms and the platform. So let's look at those notes and how we can use them. Now, for us, we may need to collect data from our subscribers. And so what I love about this program is that you can take quick surveys, you can do feedback forms, like what product did you purchase, or what genre of books do you like? You can send this out to your list. You can do forms that have interview questions for potential clients. So a lot of times we are very selective about our program. So you might have an application that they have to fill out before you work with them just to make sure that they qualify. You can even do interview questions for your potential employees. So you may say, hey, I'm hiring, fill out this form for me because I want to see if this could be a good match. You may have registration forms for your events. So before the actual event, you may want them to go online to sign up for the event or take a survey on, what they would like to see at the event. You can also think about surveys at your event. So maybe you tell your audience, hey, I have this free giveaway. Fill out your name and your email for a chance to win. And so you can actually have them go online in real time, fill out that information, and then you get the CSV file of that of their answers. And then, of course, I put down here, you can capture email addresses. So of course, we have our email service providers, we have the MailChimps, we have the Kickstart cards, we have the One Shopping cards, we have all of that, right? And we have them fill that out. Well, you can do the same for Google Docs as well. And so I just love this platform, and I've been using it for a couple of years now, and it's really simple to put together. But let's just look at Google Forms, the actual site itself. And I'll walk through this and then I'll show you how you can get the forms for yourself. So here we are in the platform. And just kind of an overview really quick. You can get answers fast. You can survey with style. You can have a Q&A your way. I love this. You can create or respond on the go. So they can use their phones. And what I love as, first of all, an educator, working on my doctorate and having to collect all of this data and have everything organized. Here we are with organization and analyzation. Like, you can get all of your content organized and analyzed. You can create these awesome little graphs. I mean, it's just awesome. And then you can build it together. So if you have a team and maybe you're working on something and they can help you work on something, they can go in your Google Docs, your sheets, your slides, whatever it is, you can have someone help you with this. And I just love it. They just have to have and actually they don't even have to have a Google account. But they can work on it, but it's even better when they have it. So that's that for this sheet, but I want to jump in and show you some of the templates, right? So here is the template gallery, and I'm just like so in love. I'm so excited. But you can create your own, or you can work with what they've already provided. Now, I would say whatever you're trying to do, I would find the template for it, and then unless you really need customization, you can pretty much use what they have and just go with it, right? So look, worksheets, contact information, RSVP, party invites, event registration, like find a time, all of this. This is just amazing. I just did a worksheet last week for something, a presentation that I'm doing, because I want the people to fill it out prior to the event. It's like their pre-homework, because I want to see, are they familiar with Facebook? Are they familiar with Instagram? I want to see if they're familiar with all of these platforms before jumping into the presentation, because it's helpful, first of all, because it allows me to customize the presentation itself. So you can do this for before your webinars. How many of you guys have heard of this platform before? You're going to be teaching on maybe lead pages or ClickFunnels, whatever you're teaching on. After they register, you can send them out an email in your autoresponders to say, this is a survey that I need you to take so that I am familiar with what you have prior to the event. There's other ways to do it too, but I mean, this is another option for you as well. So now that I've shown you the template gallery, let me show you how you can gain access to it. If this is something that you're like, oh, I want to do it, this is how you do it. So you have to have a Google account, and I would just for Gmail. Once you search for Gmail, a list will pop up, and just go ahead and click on Gmail. And go ahead and follow the promptings, and once you sign up, you are good to go. But because I already have a account, I'm just going to go ahead and click on there and be led straight to my inbox. So once you're in the inbox, you want to go over to the far right hand side where it has Google Apps. Once you click down on that, led to Google Drive. So you can go ahead and click on Google Drive. And this is how I do it. Of course, there's a link, but because you're going to always be in your, you can create in your Drive. I just normally just go to my Drive. So I go on Drive, then I click New. I click New again. No. I click New again, and then a list pops up, and then once you click on More, you'll be able to create a form. And so you can just go ahead and either click on there from blank form or from a template. Choose whichever one you want, but I'm just going to go ahead and go a template to show you how we can do this. So now that we're on the form, what we're going to do is create a worksheet. Remember, you can create a blank one if you want, but I would just go ahead and find something that relates or resembles to what you want to do, and then go with that, and then you can customize it later. But let's just start with a template of worksheet. And so here's the scenario. We are a small business, and we want our clients to take a 7-question survey. So let me just backtrack. Instead of a 7-question, we might start with just 3. Okay, so here we are in Google Forms, and as you can see, they have this pretty background here, but you can change it up if you want. You can literally change this up. But first thing we want to do is go ahead and name our sheet, and so we'll say business survey. We don't have to use worksheet. We'll use business survey. And over to the right, we have add-ons. So add-ons is something that I put on my Google Forms just so that when I got an email, I would get alerted. So you can go to, just go ahead and Google search and put email notifications for Google Forms, and then you can find that and add that on if you want. You don't have to, but you can. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this pretty background, but you may say this isn't my style, it isn't, following my brand palette, and you can easily change that. You can add a different color, you can add an image, and they give you some selected images or themes if you want. And let's see if they have something that might go along with the theme of business. I don't think they don't have a search, but you can just go ahead and figure something out. So what we'll do for this presentation because I can do this all day and I love this stuff. What we'll do for this presentation is we'll just select a color. So we'll do like a pretty blue. And so the next thing we can focus on are the settings. And I'm not going to get into this right now because we'll do this at the end, but you can put general, tell them collect email addresses, which for now we will say yes. And then presentation, quizzes, you can make it a quiz as well, but we're not going to focus on that right now. We are just going to worry about what this looks like, the content of it. And so we'll give this a name. So we'll say our business survey, and then you can put a description on here. So we can say, give us your honest opinion, or whatever you want to say. So we have email address, and because I changed the setting earlier to make sure that they collected email addresses, I can't edit this at all unless I change the settings. So if I go ahead and change the settings and say I don't necessarily need to collect email addresses, it will allow me to change. So here we are with the first name. So they can go ahead and put their first name in there, their email address. They could even do an image title, but we don't want that right now for what we're trying to do. We will keep going. And the first thing we want, though, is to ask our audience, how would you rate your overall satisfaction with this, right? So that's a question, and I'm going to have 5 different things that I want them to mark. So we can go in here and do a multiple choice. We can do a short answer, paragraph, check boxes, or drop down box. We can use any one of these, but because we're going to have 5 of them, I'm going to do a drop down box. And so I'm going to go ahead and put in that question. I can also add a pretty image, but I'm not. And then I will go ahead and put in these answers. There you go. So we now have all of the question and all of the answers in there. So there you go. And of course, if you want to require them to do this, then you would go ahead and put required, and the little asterisk will come on. And sometimes you have to click off of there, and then they'll show you. So now the next question that we want to focus on is, how likely are you to recommend our products and services to others? So we just really created this one, right? And so it's pretty much going to be the same thing. So what we want to do is duplicate it. So I would just go ahead and duplicate it, paste the question, and of course it's going to vary. So what we need to do is go ahead and put in our new answers. Right? So now that I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, I like the drop down for the last one, but I need to change that because I want to do multiple choice. So you can go ahead and click on multiple choice, and voila, your audience can actually have a multiple choice. And you can also come in here and move them around. So if you don't like that there, you can move it down here or whatever you want. And you can also add another option as well. Okay, so the next question I might ask them is, hey, how can we improve our products and services to better serve you? So it's not going to be a drop down this time. It's not going to be multiple choice, but we need them to give an answer. And so what we can do is get something. This is actually a title, so I'm going to delete that. But over on this side, you can go ahead and add a question. So what I'll do is I will add the question, right? And I will go ahead and paste our question in there. And then I'll come up here and say, all right, do I want them to give me a short answer or paragraph? They may have a lot to say. So just go ahead and give them a paragraph. And then again, you can put required. And at any time you want to change your questions around and you want this to be on top of or before how likely are you recommend, you can actually take this and drag it up there and move it around, which I love. And of course, since we are working on a template, I will go ahead and delete the things that we don't need. And so this is the 3-question survey that we want our audience to take, right? And so now, since we finished that up, what we're going to do is focus on finishing everything. We have our content. Now we want to finish everything. So like I showed you earlier, we're going to go to settings, and then we're going to let Google know that they cannot finish the survey unless they give us an email. And then you can tell them if you want them to see their responses or not. But for this particular survey, we're not going to do that. And so now you can look at require sign-in, meaning they will be required to sign in to Google. I wouldn't do that. Respondents can edit after submit. So if they submit it and they're like, oh my gosh, I need to change that answer or add something new, you can allow them to do that. I would say no. It's a lot of other stuff that goes on with that. So I would just say let them fill it out, collect their email address, and there you go. So presentation. So you can actually show a progress bar. When they're taking the survey, a little pop-up will say, hey, you have maybe, 20% more until you're done. You can shuffle the questions in any order, have them do that, and then you can show a link to submit another response. You don't have to do we're not going to do any of that for this one. You can also confirm your message. So tell them that the response has been recorded. And then you can turn this into a quiz, which we are not going to do. This is just a survey today. So after all is said and done, what we're just going to focus on right now is collecting email addresses. So we're just going to go ahead and save that. And again, I don't know why they bring this email, but we'll just delete that. Because it was the one that I created, but this is the one that Google creates. If you tell them I want them to have their email addresses on here. And then, of course, if you want to change this, you cannot move it because they are letting them know, hey, you have to put your email address in here. So you cannot shift these at all. So that's okay. But everything is pretty much done. And over here, you will see responses. And so once you have everything up and running and you submit or you send your link out, you will see the responses. So we're waiting right now for a response. And so we're going to do like a mock one where I send it to myself and then we'll come back over here to check it out. So now that we have everything going for ourselves, we are going to send this puppy. And we're going to send it via email to my email address. And also you can send links too, which I love links. You can shorten it or you can embed it. You can embed it in your website. But again, we're going to send this via email. And then we can go ahead and tell them what we want. I've invited you to fill out this business survey. And then they'll send it. And then you can even include the form in the email. This is awesome. So go ahead. I'm going to do that. And you can also, up here too, you can share it on Twitter. You can share it on Facebook, Google+. Awesome sauce. Now go ahead and send it, right? So they'll tell you how many responses that you're even waiting for and the emails that you're waiting to collect. So now that's that. Let's go on over to my email to fill this thing out. So here we are in my inbox. And I decided to do this in incognito, and you might want to do this as well if you are testing this out, only because you might get some different weird things happening on the back end. So you want to just go ahead and click incognito, those 3 little lines, incognito, and then sign in through your same account, but just in a different browser. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the survey, and look at this. The color scheme is there. The business survey is there. I've invited you to fill out this business survey, and then they can go ahead and fill it out right here. They don't even have to go or click on anything. So I'm going to go in here and fill out my information. Look, there's our drop down. How would you rate your overall satisfaction with us? Very satisfied. How likely are you to recommend our products and services to other? Very likely. And then I can go ahead and, hey, you're doing a bang up job. Voila. There you go. 3-question survey. Submit. And there you go. Your response has been recorded. So now let's go look at what it looks like on our end as the business owner. So I'm going to come back over here to Google and look at my business survey. And actually, before we go and do that, because we already have that open, say if you are just in your inbox and you want to check on those things, then you can literally just go up here to Google Apps, Google Drive, and it should be in your recent forms. Here we are, business forms or business survey. And then you may even want to save it somewhere so that you can easily like access it, because you may be working on different projects, and then you get the responses throughout the week. So I would just have it like maybe in a folder with business survey on there. So I'd click on their business survey, and then I click on responses, and there we go. There is a summary of how many people responded, the email address, who has responded, and then they give you a graph. It's already done for you. Awesome. So how would you rate your overall satisfaction with us? And then they're giving it to you right there. So I love this because you can see it in real time, and you can, out of 100 people, 90 people said that they were dissatisfied with your business. You can see that right there. It's awesome. And then you can just see all the other questions too, and then the responses. And you can look at individual responses. So that's a summary. So now I can just look at what that person said, that particular person, and then they'll tell me when they submitted it and at the time they submitted it. And then I can, of course, we don't have another email address, but we could click on over to get the other email address and see what they had to say. And then you can print this off, or you can delete them, or whatever you want to do. So now what you can do just gets better and better and better. You can click on those dots and get the CSV file of all of it. So I could literally download my responses in the CSV file. And so what you can do with these, with the CSV file, is actually upload that to your email service provider. So you can actually take that in there and put them on your list after they filled out this survey, which is so awesome. Now, another thing that you can do, because I am totally invested in Google Forms and spreadsheets and slides and all that stuff, you can actually put this into a sheet. So you can create a spreadsheet with the responses, or you can create a select one, or one that's already, you've already done before. You can add it to there. But look at this. It gives you the timestamp, email address, all of that, just so if you want that on for records. And I just love it. And every time someone, because you've already done it once, every time that somebody fills something out, you can go here as well and check out what they said. If you're like, I am a visual person and I want to see all of it together, you can do that as well. But that's pretty much it. You can create a form, survey, quiz, anything in this, and it's so awesome, so convenient. And one thing that you can do, like if you wanted to create something else, another survey, you can come in here and make a copy. Oh, it's awesome. And that's it. This is awesome. If you want to use this, I would highly suggest to use it and start implementing it right away for your business. Um, and I would love to see what you come up with. I would love to see that. So shoot me an email and I'd like to see what you come up with for maybe your business. So I hope you enjoyed and I will talk to you soon. Bye.